Hello, my friends. Let me tell you a story about a boy who believed that failure was the end of the road, a final answer, a sign that he wasn't good enough and never would be. Every mistake felt like a wall standing in front of him. Every setback felt like a door slamming shut. But here is the truth most people never learn. Failure is not your enemy. In fact, failure is often the first invitation life sends you towards something greater. Something that can completely change who you become. So before we begin, take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let go of the pressure for just a moment, because this story is not about quitting. It is about learning how to stand up when you think you can't anymore. In a small town near a clear, sparkling river lived a boy named Rohan. He was curious, imaginative, and full of ideas that danced inside his head. He loved building things, drawing plans in the dirt, imagining machines that could fly or spin or sing. But there was one shadow that followed him everywhere. Rohan was afraid of failing. Every time he tried something new, a quiet voice inside whispered, "What if you mess this up?" And when things didn't work, that voice grew louder. When his homemade toy robot collapsed into pieces, his chest tightened. When the windmill he built refused to spin, his hands shook. Each failure felt like proof that he simply wasn't meant to succeed. Slowly, Rohan stopped trying. He sat on the sidelines while other children experimented, laughed, and showed off their creations. He smiled on the outside, but inside he felt small. He told himself it was safer not to try than to fail again. One afternoon, his teacher noticed him sitting alone, staring at the ground. She walked over and knelt beside him. "Rohan," she said gently, "do you know something important?" He shrugged. "Every inventor you admire failed many times before succeeding. They didn't stop. And that's why we remember them." Rohan frowned. "But what if I fail again?" She smiled, not with pity, but with understanding. "Then you learn, that's all. Failure isn't your enemy, Rohan. It's your teacher." That night, lying in bed, Rohan stared at the ceiling. Images of broken toys, spilled paint, and unfinished projects filled his mind. But this time, something felt different. For the first time, he didn't just feel shame. He felt curiosity. "Maybe failing isn't the end," he whispered. "Maybe it's just the beginning." The next morning, Rohan picked up his tools again. This time, he decided to build something simple. A small mechanical bird. His hands trembled, but he kept going. When the wings didn't move, his heart jumped. But instead of quitting, he paused. He adjusted one piece, tried again, still nothing. He took a breath and tried once more. Then, slowly, the wings fluttered. Just a little. But that little movement felt bigger than any success he had imagined before. His eyes lit up, not because it was perfect, but because he had stayed. In that moment, Rohan understood something powerful. Failure wasn't stopping him. Fear was. And now, fear was losing its grip. Day after day, he kept creating. Some projects failed completely. Others worked halfway. A few succeeded. But none of them felt like enemies anymore. Each mistake showed him what to change, what to strengthen, what to improve. Failure became information, not a verdict. Weeks passed, then months, and something beautiful happened. Rohan began to change. His drawings grew bolder, his inventions more creative, his confidence quieter but stronger. He no longer rushed to hide mistakes. He studied them. He learned from them. Friends noticed. Teachers noticed. But the most important change was inside him. He felt lighter, freer. He wasn't carrying the heavy burden of perfection anymore. One evening, sitting by the river with his father, Rohan watched the water flow over stones. "I used to think failing meant I wasn't good enough," he said softly. "Now I think it's just showing me how to grow." His father smiled and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Life will test you again and again," he said. "You will stumble. Things won't go your way. But remember this: every failure is like a seed. Water it with patience, and it will bloom in time. So my friends, remember this: failure is not a full stop. It is a comma, a pause that teaches you, shapes you, and prepares you for what comes next. When you stumble, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What can this teach me?" Keep trying, keep learning, keep moving forward, because every failure you face today is quietly building the strength you will need tomorrow.